Hello and welcome to another video on the Train Sim World UK Trains and Routes Only Facebook group. God, I have to remember that every time. This is part two of a video I'm doing. I did Bromsgrove to Birmingham New Street. That's available on YouTube in a separate video because it's such a long route and you can only do 60 minute videos on the PS5 anyway. I thought I'd split it into two. That might help with engagement a little bit. I'm at Birmingham New Street at the moment. I depart in just under a minute's time. So if you watched the first video, you know already that I drive with no HUD, I drive with the safety systems all on, and I went through a few various aspects of things that I spotted and things that I noticed on the route. I'm doing a basic drive-through on how I drive the train. I'm not saying it's the right way of driving, of course. This is how I drive it, and I enjoy it, and I find it fun. There is a few challenges. The general sort of stopping and starting isn't necessarily the most challenging thing. There are challenges in it. I've created a few scenarios to create more challenges as well. As you can see, if you haven't watched the first video, you've gone straight to this one. You can see that I've got my reverser in neutral, and the reason why is because I've been stood here for a few minutes now, and I'm just going to close my doors, and the vigilance does go off quite a lot. So I'm just going to slip that back into forward. I'm going to turn off my HUD. Now I also use the buzzer, which is B on the keyboard if you've got a keyboard, of course, but as it's New Street, you are supposed to get an RA, which we won't get, unfortunately, in the sim, but that's fine. It's 10 mile an hour through New Street, so let's just take it steady there. Don't know if anyone else has noticed, but everything goes quiet. Here, look. Anyone else notice that? So as you can see, I've actually passed two green signals, this is quite a rare platform, mate, because you have two signals. So you have that signal there and this signal here. Oh, it's snowing. So the reason why you have a signal here, and that D means Derby, so that lines to Derby, you have the Stour lines and the Derby lines. So what that basically means is if you're coming out of platform 7, you also have that signal. So it's very easy in real life to overlook. So you can be stood at New Street and actually you have a green signal at the end of the platform, but the signal in front of you will be red, but it will be because it's a train being signalled out of platform 7, which also has to adhere to that signal. So that is something that is a bit of a trap in real life. We won't ever see that in the sim unless they start running trains out of platform 7, but it's just something to bear in mind in real life. Got a bit of snow, so I've had basically autumnal sun, or all the way from Bromsgrove, which is where I originally started. This train goes to, where does it go to? Four Oaks. It's a Four Oaks service, so we're only going as far as Four Oaks in this. Haven't done mainly to Lichfield, to be fair. It's not that it's too long, it's just that it's too long. Oh, look at all the snow that's suddenly appeared. Right, I don't know what I'm doing next, I can speed up now. Too busy yapping, not concentrating. So all of a sudden we've had a snowfall. Wow. It's kind of probably good you are watching this fresh, because there was no snow as I went into New, so all of a sudden there's snow everywhere. Slightly unrealistic there, but hey ho. It's quite pretty though, isn't it? Bit of snow, I do like the snow. Climbing that hill at 30 mile an hour as we come up to Preface Junction. Now I don't know what these symbols are. I will find out. I've been meaning to find out, but I keep forgetting. I know someone who will know. So this is Preface Junction, so the line splits here. You on the left lines go towards basically Birmingham National, Coventry, Rugby down towards London. The line here goes towards the Crosscity North and Derby. Oh, got a bit too fast. So we've got the feathers to go left, so we're going to go up and over the Stour lines on this flyover. Those lines there to the right go towards Derby. You can also go towards Tyseley, Small Heath and Tyseley, and also go along the Camp Hill back towards Kings Norton as well, but it's not wired. And obviously 323s rely on overhead wires. Our next calling point is Duddeston, because the 4X will stop at Duddeston. 50 mile an hour from here, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. Not driven in the snow yet, so I don't know if the conditions will be different, so bear with me. You might notice I might get caught out. Also, if you're watching, see this livery that's approaching me now, that is the Centro livery, the original Regional Railway Centro livery that I created myself. It is on the creator content, should you be interested. I am actually driving with it also, and by pure chance, I put 323 211 as the default random number, but I am actually driving 323 211 as found out by the vehicle number that is on the side. So that was just pure fluke, really, I think. It's approaching Duddeston. Here's Duddeston Station now. Busier than it should be. This is not normally a busy station, to be honest. There's not really a lot here. There's a few workplaces, I guess, but I wouldn't say it's the busiest in the world. It's more residential than anything else. Whoa! That is not very good. So, yeah, that's definitely conditions. So I've slightly overshot the station platform there because basically of the snow. Yeah, misjudged. So basically I've got to be a bit more careful then. And I'm late. Yeah, interesting. Right, okay. So the conditions are a little bit slippy then. So let's get gone. I'll take it steady. Normally I'll whack the PSB open, but I got a funny feeling. PCB open. I've got a funny feeling it's going to slip and slide if I try. So I'll take it steady, but I've got to be aware then braking is a bit inhibited in this snowy weather, which makes sense because it should be. Let's get moving now. Start opening a bit. Just approaching the 70. But you probably heard the AWS as I came to a stand. That was for this 45 PSR, which is just on the approach to Aston. Got two yellows because the signal at Aston, which takes you onto the Crosscity line, is approach control. And I've got to stop at Aston as well, I assume, to have a look. Yep. So we're just going for an area called Nechel's. Quite a lot of factories and workplaces around here. I'm going to start coasting a bit because the 45 is coming up, and as I've got degraded braking because of the weather, I'm going to take it a bit steady. Don't want the TPDRS to go again. So if you haven't watched the first part yet, I did have a TPDRS intervention on the event approach to Kings Norton. I got a bit carried away looking at all the RHTT trains just suddenly appearing out of nowhere. Wasn't concentrating, and I was approaching junction. Well, apparently I was approaching junction too quick. I thought I would have slowed down in time, but obviously the system didn't seem to think so, and it brought me to a stand momentarily, but I was quick enough to be able to reset it and get gone again, so it didn't affect me too much. Just approaching Aston. The line coming in from the right is from Stetchford and Birmingham International. These two circles here with the back lines are banner repeaters because there's two ways you can go. So it's showing that either way is red. So if they're flat like that, horizontal, that means that the signal is red. Just taking it steady because one, I'm approaching a red signal, and two, it's a bit slidey. We do actually stop at Aston, so let's just put a bit of power on, otherwise I'll be crawling. How are we doing for time? Not doing very well here at all. Yeah, that braking is properly degraded. Yeah, I mean, obviously bearing in mind I've just driven it in dry conditions all the way from Bromsgrove, where the braking was a lot more responsive. The snow has definitely degraded, which is brilliant because it just shows you how actually just during the one journey, and I'm glad actually that you've seen it like this, because now you can see how difficult it can be to drive. So the challenge has been, so the good thing about this is I now have to drive differently to what I was driving in the first part of the video. I did forget to buzz when I left Duddeston because I got a bit flustered. So yeah, you've got B on the keyboard will buzz here. So buzz, 2 from the guard to say go, 2 back to say I've acknowledged it. Taking it a bit steady as we approach the junction. We've got the feathers and these lovely LEDs. These are lovely generation LEDs. It's actually got a little side, little green light on the side. They go yellow or red as well, so you know what the aspect is should you be sat right next to it. 20 mile an hour over the junction there as we go onto the Crosscity North. And we're approaching Aston Interchange, otherwise known as Spaghetti Junction, as we weave underneath the many roads. Should be able to open up a little bit now for the 40 PSR. Our next stop should be Gravelly Hill. If you are using a keyboard and you want to know how to put the wipers on, it is B. I can't remember how to do it on the keyboard, if I'm really on the joypad, to be fair. There is a way of doing it, but yeah, I only use a keyboard, you see, so I'm using the keyboard. So I also use the keyboard for most of the controls for acceleration as well. So A to accelerate, D to decelerate is the best way of remembering should you be using a train which uses a power brake controller, a single power brake controller. Going up a hill, so let's put a bit of power on. Got on notch 3 there. Slip it down to notch 1. Maybe notch 2 then. Oh, 45. I always miss the 45 board. But Gravelly Hill's not too far away. It's just a bit of a claw at this hill. Then there's an overbridge. There's an underbridge and then there's an overbridge. And then Gravelly Hill Station. So I will, as we're in degraded braking because of the weather, I will drop to notch 1. And I think I'll drop off and let it coast. How are we doing for time? Oh, good. Got a minute yet. So we're still under a minute yet, so we have to stop. So that's good. We've recovered the time well. Going to start braking. So just going to take it steady. So that's notch 1 braking. Just a note, from here on, it's 60 miles an hour. Going to go to notch 2 just to make sure the train's under control. Try and be a bit more defensive driving. Nice long platform. The S-board is right at the end of the platform as well, so we can just let it go. It is uphill, so we can take it quite steady. I'll just do step 1 for a gradual stop. I might just ease off and then put it back on again. And there we go. How long are we here for? Cool. 50 seconds or so. Whew. Yeah, very snowy indeed. Unlike our weather today is quite misty. I've not played him much in the mist. I think I need to play more in the mist. Next stop is Erdington. So the stops are quite close together now. Erdington's probably just under a mile. Then Chester Road is barely 3/4 of a mile, so it's quite intense. And Walgreen's just under a mile as well. Yeah. Alright, let's get those doors shut. Watch the brake drop down. Door interlock light's gone off. So you know you can get going. Let's go into step 2, just to get moving. Let's do it. Let's open it up. Definitely struggling to accelerate. Normally it's a lot nippier than this. So that's really good. Very good programming. Adds a bit of realism to the route as well, and the drive. Picking up speed now. It is a climb as well. Next stop is Erdington. And we're now at a stretch. It's now 60 mile an hour maximum speed along here. But not that you get to it much because you're constantly stopping and starting. So it's not too far from this bend, so I'm going to power off anyway because I'm going to exceed 60, but going to start considering to slow down. And it's also, Erdington is also one of those stations where the free car board is halfway down the platform. Actually, in fact, it's really early on, so I'm going to give it. Look at that, the brakes are coming on. I'm slowing down, really struggling to slow down there. You can tell there's a rather snow-covered Class 3 2-3. A lot of snow there. I wonder what the snow's like on the front of ours. So yeah, the braking is properly degraded, indeed. So there's the free car board. That noise is the snow off the umbrella. Yeah, doing well here. Have a quick look round. Oh. Yeah, I was just slightly off the... Yeah, but as you can see there, look, I put 323 211 as my, just because it was easy to do 211. but by pure chance, looking at the vehicle number, it actually is 323211. That is by complete fluke. That was not planned that way at all. I wonder why in the middle car's got its vehicle number though. That's weird. Interesting. Oh. So this is Erdington. Next stop is Chester Road, and literally barely three quarters of a mile. I think it might even be half a mile away, if I'm honest. So yeah. Oh. Didn't think I'd. So that was my vigilance going off. I normally, if I'm going to be any more than 60 seconds, I do tend to. I'm just going to open up. I do tend to slip my reverser into neutral, but I didn't think I'd set it off. I thought it might be. Maybe it's less than 30 seconds then. Interesting. Yeah, it's certainly not picking up speed as quick as it would do normally. So yeah, the snow has definitely caused some degradation. Shift and V if you want to step back a mode on your wiper. So I'm just going to get to a slower intermittent now. Chester Road is just on the corner there if you can make it out. So I'm going to just put coast on, and again free stock cardboard. Right, so on Chester Road, the free cardboard is actually missing, but I've worked out where it is. I've got a piece of railway furniture. There's a stanchion, which is where it would probably be if it was to be here. So I will stop at the stanchion that I believe is where the free cardboard is. Look at that light shining through it. That's clever, isn't it? Look at that. Braking is... So I think it's at that stanchion there, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, maybe not. So, I might have stopped just a bit short, but I believe it's that stanchion there. I think that's the free car stop. But I've stopped now, and the train is on the platform, so I'm not too fussed. How are we doing for time? Lovely. Not doing too bad at all. Definitely losing some time accelerating, for sure. Next stop is Wild Green. Again, that's not too far away. Pretty much go on a bend now, and I think you can see it as we go around the bend. And off we go. Snow steadily slowing down a little bit as we get to yeah, definitely yeah, Wild Green is just in the distance, just before that overbridge. So I'm gonna just power off. Right. Safe than sorry with the degraded brake, and I'm going to brake a bit earlier than I would have done normally. Reacted a bit quicker than I thought. Oh, I can't remember now. Is there a free cardboard in the middle, or is it at the end? I've forgotten with Wild Green. I'll just have to look out for it. Oh, these blooming umbrellas in the way. Oh, there it is. Oh. There we go. Yeah, we're definitely cutting it fine, aren't we, with the time? Stopped perfect on the free cardboard. Oh, that's supposed to be snow kicking up. It's not fantastic at the moment. Next stop is Sutton Coalfield, so we dropped from 60 to 35. There is a warning. Not too far from departing Wild Green. It's on a bit of a bend as well as Sutton Coalfield station here, so it comes, but you know it's coming because you see the 35 board, so it's a bit of a clue, and you have to slow down for the 35 anyway, so you're already slowing down for the station by default. We can pick up a bit of speed here. So here's the AWS mark. Yep, and that's for the 35 that's coming shortly. Start to power off a bit as you approach 60. Yeah, so we go around this bend and this dead straight. In the distance you can make out a board. Start slowing down a bit. We're dropping downhill. Yeah. Oh, we'll have to put a bit more brake on. It's not responding quite as quick as I would like. Things do look a bit different in the snow as well. That certainly has messed up my distances because things look slightly different. I know fundamentally they're still there and they're all the same, but I'm taking it really steady. So I'm quite. There's 35 board there. Look, see, normally in a clear day, we know you can see it a lot better. So there's the 35, but I've got to slow down anyway for Sutton. So. And there is a free car marker halfway down the platform, but it's set quite far back against the wall, so it kind of pops out at you quite last minute. There it is on that lamppost. There we are. Yeah, still doing okay for time. The last, we're approaching the last stop now, which is Four Oaks. Right, let's get them doors shut. Let's go. Remembering, of course, it's 35 as you come out of Sutton Coldfield Station. It's easy to forget the speed. I've done it many times when I've gone blasting off and realised, oh no, it's 35 and then it's a 45 as it comes out of the tunnel. So we've got a series of tunnels here. One of the tunnels is the Sutton Park line. So that's the line that runs between Walsall and Waterorton, which is the line towards Derby. Just put it into neutral there as we come through the tunnel. And there's a 45, so now we terminate Four Oaks, it's just over a mile, so, but it doesn't mean you can't power up. We will start seeing adverse signals as we approach Four Oaks. It is free aspect, so we literally get a single yellow, but the line speed isn't really, fast enough, and the trains that run on it, really, they are very quick at braking, usually. So I'm expecting a single yellow as we get around this corner. Or a yellow, should I say. So there's no banner repeater for this, which is a bit weird. You think they'd have one. Because that... So the next signal will be red, but it should, technically, be track approach and should clear for us to go in the bay. But that's obviously assuming that there isn't something coming the other way. So obviously there would be a 55, but we're not going to speed up to 55 because we've actually got to slow down for this red signal. Suddenly remembered that I have degraded braking. There we go. Is it going to clear? 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 Don't always expect the signal to clear. It can catch you out. So we'll slowly approach it. And I think it clears... I think you have to get quite close, which I think might not be realistic. Loop board. Yeah, it's cleared. I do think it clears a bit further back, But... anyway. It's 20 mile an hour over the crossing, so you cross from the up onto the down. From the up onto the down and into the bay. So we'll slow back down to 20 as we go over the crossing. that there is a train on the platform, so that could have possibly gone first. Bit of a climb, so I'm just going to put a bit of power on as we go into the bay at Four Oaks. It's a dead end platform, by the way. Well, because it's a bay. There is a 3-car board, but actually it's not that far off the 6-car board, to be honest. But it's there anyway, and that's just to make sure that the train is in clear. It's relatively far down the platform, as you can see, look. And I've been to Four Oaks many times, and this is pretty well replicated. So there we go. That's Four Oaks. We're here. We've arrived. It's a very snowy Four Oaks. Loving the reflection and everything. Shame the train doesn't reflect very well. And that's the end of that route there. Yeah. So I got me gold. So there we go. That was New Street to Four Oaks. I am going to do another video that would see, I could have recorded it, 59 minutes. That will do from Sutton Coalfield to Lichfield Trent Valley, just to show that part of the route. And then I'm going to try and do all little segments and try and do half-hour sections, because otherwise it takes too long and people get switch off basically. So thank you for joining me. Hope that you find that interesting. Look out for more drive-throughs. So take care.